comic book canon, so let's start the show! Joe and Jeff got the juice, keep the show on fire. Josh brings the news straight from the source with no desire. The judge, our wise advisor, keeps us in line. Fresh from the comic shop, showcase your design. Ask Joe the comic book ninja for insights to explore. The popcorn gets to know you from straight to the core. I guess out to think, cause we make some freaks. So much more to discover, this show's a hit. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. So let's start the show.
All right. Sun's out, guns out again, Joe. Sun's out, guns out again. You weren't here for the casual canon. We'll get to that.
I was not.
In a hot second. But what we're going to do here, we are back from a week off. It was a glorious week, I have to say. I got to reset from the canon, and, now we're all about business, and we have lots of business to discuss.
Now, speaking of, Jeff, business, I didn't tell you about this, but this episode of Comic Book Canon is sponsored. We have a sponsorship that we're going to be dropping today. This means a lot to me because one of the things that I love to collect is slabbed comics, CGC graded comics and or other grading companies, encased in plastic. But nothing is worse than when the plastic itself gets scuffed up and messy. And that's why this episode of Comic Book Canon is sponsored by SlabDexs. It's like Windex, but for slabs. As you can tell, it's blue. That means it's good, and it also tastes good. So you can actually spray this on your slabs, wipe it off, and you get a nice shiny finish. Look at that. Look at that beauty right there. And blueberry flavored SlabDexs for every comic book collector. Thank you very much.
That is, you know what I have to say? That is absolutely brilliant. Can I see the logo real quick one more time?
Yeah, really, really well done, sleek. That's definitely not a Post-it note that I wrote on with a Sharpie about 8 minutes ago.
Right. So here's the deal, Joe. You just kind of got to let us know when we're going to be sponsored, so everybody else is on board with this, and we can start pushing SlabDexs. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Honestly, Jeff, I made that and was like, oh, I'm going to tell Jeff during the pre-show that we're going to do that. And then I just didn't. So I said, I'm going to wing it. And here we are now winging it. I don't know why I'm still full screen. Let's fix that. Hey, Jeff, welcome back.
I'm in awe about SlabDexs. I love it. I love that we are a sponsor. And let's thank SlabDexs. And we have to mention SlabDexs. What is it? I'm assuming, knowing you in contracts, we're contractually obligated to mention SlabDexs 12 more times, yes. I believe.
Contractually, okay. Yeah. Now, one thing to note, it is 99% pure gasoline. That is just...
then all you have to do is keep it away from an open flame.
But you don't want to have flames near your comic books anyway. That's how the Chicago fire of 1918 started.
It's not a big deal, honestly, and just don't ingest it either. Anyways, SlabDexs, thank you so much. Again, this is Comic Book Canon, episode 230, and this is the week of Superman, right? This is the week of Superman. Superman is on us. We're going to be talking a lot about Superman during this episode. Please talk to us about what Superman means to you. All of us within the Canon crew are very, very excited, and we will talk some more about that. And we're easing into this summer, the rest of summer here, knowing that we were off for a week and a half if you count Casually Canon. So there's no new comic book day pick, at least a pre-recorded one. Naomi may surprise us with a live one. And ruling from the bench, we will not have that today. We will have a Superman Did You Know? Now, for those that were watching Casually Canon this past Tuesday, I had some big news that I mentioned. And I'm not sure if other people know about this. Don't type anything in there. But the first person to mention what the big news I had will win this Adventure Comics 210 facsimile. It's not the real thing. No. Joe, it's not the real thing.
It's not the real thing.
The first person in the comments to mention what the big news I had and who it was to from our Casually Canon episode will win that right there. So drop it in the chat here. Paul Bond, what's going on with Superman?
I heard that he died in 1993, so probably nothing.
Yeah, so he's with JFK and Tupac in Memphis or something like that. At Graceland. So I said, basically what I said was, if anybody can mention what the big news was and who it was to, we're not seeing that. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so in the comments we have to see it. So the first person to mention that will, win that Adventure Comics, because it hasn't been mentioned yet. I will say that. I'm not sure if I should give some time or we should just get on with the show here with our.
Well, I'll tell you what I did.
There we go. There we go.
Wait, you did?
Yep. See, you weren't there.
I wasn't there. And
here's the quick story.
I'm going to be honest. I did not watch the replay of the show. I've been very busy the last week.
Wins, and here's what happened. It was so difficult to get the families together and friends together. And the last straw was when Joe was like, no, you pay for my travel if you want me to show up at your stupid wedding. And Alicia and I were just like, you know what? Here's the deal. We're just going to go to Vegas and do it ourselves. So we did, and boom. So Caleb, you win this wonderful copy of Adventure Comics that has nothing to do with the wedding that I was part of.
Jeff,
how did I married?
How did she feel about the prenup?
She didn't know she signed it.
I'm gonna get in trouble
with that. She didn't know she signed it. She was
sorry, Alicia. Love you.
I put some chemicals in her drink and just had her. She was slurring words and had her sign it.
This sounds very illegal.
I'm gonna leave that alone. Actually, by the way, why don't we just get to it? Episode 230, as we said, Superman theme, but not unfortunately, it's just son of a bee. Joe, why don't you just
okay, I'll just talk for a second. A lot of things are coming up in the comic book community. It's summer. There's a little kind of slowdown of the conventions, but in just a couple weeks, Philly Comic-Con is coming back August 3rd. And then the weekend after that is the big one, Terrificon up in New England. Myself, I will be there along with my regular crew, aka Pope of Chili Town and Brixco Comics, Paul and Mike. Josh will be coming up with us, right, Josh?
I hope.
Cool. All right, cool. Bye. Jeff, I don't know if you're coming to Terrificon, but I know a bunch of people from the chat. Nori Jordan will be coming. Dr. Guillon's coming. And it's such a great show up in New England, up in Connecticut at the Mohegan Sun Casino and Resort. I'll be staying there at least one night. We haven't made our definitive travel plans yet, but I certainly will be there.
Yo, you're crushing it, Joe. You did an outstanding job with that. And
I tried my best.
Super close to getting this up. And here we go. You did a great job, Joe. Great job. But here we go. I'll save you. Actually, can you guess what 230 is? What? Oh, you may have seen it in the chat. Damn it.
And then there's a lot of 230s that or a couple that I'm thinking of.
You get one guess.
Is it a Golden Age book?
Yes. Actually, I'm not quite sure if it's golden or silver, but I think
it's the really awesome cover. And you and me, being bald guys, we're real big on this character, right? Is it not the Mad Hatter?
Oh, look at you! Look at you, Joseph. It is the Mad Hatter. Detective Comics 230 marks the first ever appearance of the Mad Hatter, a.k.a. Jervis Tetch, a villain obsessed with hacks, mind control, and Lewis Carroll's Wonderland. Originally introduced as a gimmicky character for Batman, the Mad Hatter would go on to evolve into a much darker and more disturbing figure, using psychological manipulation to challenge the Dark Knight in deeply unsettling ways. It's a true slice of Silver Age strangeness and the beginning of one of Gotham's most enduring oddballs. Joe, that was really well done, actually. Joshua calling us out on this.
Yeah, this is true. There are two Golden Age Mad Hatters.
Okay.
This is a lot of people gravitate to this book because it has the cover. The cover is a reason to get this book. This is a different Mad Hatter. Batman 49 is technically the first Mad Hatter, but it's kind of overshadowed because it's also the first Vicky Vale, and it's a really great Joker cover. It's one of the Joker coming out of a genie lamp covers. Here, I'm going to bring it up. If you want to highlight me. Highlight that guy.
I love highlighting you, by the way.
Boom. That cover.
Hold on. There we go. Ooh. That's a dope cover for sure.
Awesome cover. And not only that, but first Vicky Vale, like I said. And now I'm all blurry. I hate when this happens. I got to put my hand up here.
Can you set up your new computer, please?
So funny thing about it, for those who don't know, I got a MacBook this year. First time months ago, yes, but still this year in 2025. First time I've ever had an Apple laptop. I've had an iPhone forever, but got an Apple laptop. The thing doesn't have USB inputs, so my microphone won't hook up and stuff.
It's USB-C. You can get an adapter. It's 2025. Let's figure this out.
Listen, I barely know how to use spreadsheets, man. I'm not
You're such a liar. You are such a liar.
Yeah, I use spreadsheets like literally every day for work.
No shit. We got to move on here.
Just delivers the news and rumors.
Jeff, put me. Listen, we got another product placement,
Oh God.
Another segment, another piece of sponsorship for the show. Can you put me up on the full screen real quick? I'd like to show you guys what I'm showing off.
Joe, I think he's riding your coattails of that funny thing you did.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he's riding my something else.
So you talk about SlabDexs. Well, okay, I have WAG decks. So technically what I have here is a ripped up version of Thunderbolts #1. And what you can do is you take SlabDexs, you would put it on your slab, and then you use this piece of cloth just to smooth it up. You can shine it up with wax. You can use the SlabDexs, whatever you need. So hit me up if you're looking for this great piece of product.
Josh, that just looks like a torn up Thunderbolts #1.
And we'll get into that.
It's good. It's smooth. It's nice and smooth.
We have a lot to discuss when it comes to that.
Anyway, this episode's brought to you by SlabDexs. Fuck you, Josh.
Moving on. All right. We're just going to jump right into it. Actually, this is some sad news. So let's get into it right now.
So we talked about this last Tuesday during the Casual Canon show, but some of you may not have been with us. Jim Shooter has sadly passed away. Editor-in-chief at Marvel, did Secret Wars. He was a well-known person in the comic community, and it's a great loss in the community. And really, the only good thing to hear about this is that he's now at peace. He's no longer in pain and suffering. I didn't know that Jim was actually sick at all. But thoughts and prayers go out to his family and his friends. And another great in the community has been lost.
I want to bring Dan in as well to talk about this, as he has his Secret Wars #8 up there. But Joe, before Dan talks, let's get some thoughts here.
Yeah. Shooter obviously left a legacy behind. Did a lot of good for the community. Certainly some things that I don't personally agree with, and I've heard that he did often rub people the wrong way. But even given those things, the guy has had a tremendous amount of respect from everyone in the community. Even I saw a lot of creators saying, I did not have a good relationship with Jim Shooter, but I completely respect what he did for the industry. And that shows just the business and artistic and just the overall vision that this guy had. A lot of people use that word visionary to describe him. And he started at a very early age as a teenager. He was getting published DC. I think he did his first story at like 14 or 15. And those of you who attended cons these past couple years on the East Coast, you probably took notice of he's hard to miss. He was 6 foot,
very tall,
or something like that, 6'5". But you probably took notice that his physical appearance changed a lot in the last 2 years. he went from being, you know, an older gentleman, late 60s, early 70s, to really, unfortunately, looking a lot older. His last appearance was at Super Jersey Comic Expo, at least the last appearance that I was at. And I was shocked, unfortunately. So yes, it's great that he's at peace now. And, you know, he's definitely one of those names that goes down, you know, alongside the Kirbys and the Lees and the Fingers and the other, you know, huge names in comic book history.
Dan De La Torre, please.
I was alive and well during the controversy of the late 70s and early 80s at Marvel. And so Marvel was hemorrhaging money, and Marvel was suffering under its own and under pressure from its own success. That's why Stan Lee was no longer editor-in-chief. He gave it to first Roy Thomas and then a whole variety of people afterwards. Well, by the time Jim Shooter was editor-in-chief, he realized what they all failed to do. I had a conversation with him in San Jose, the first and only time I'd ever seen him. And I said, you know, you made some really tough choices back in those days, and I appreciate it. You took a lot of slings and arrows. You took a ton of criticism, but you made the right decision in the end. You saved Marvel. And he really appreciated those words. He shook my hand, and we had a nice conversation afterwards. What was going on was that in his description was there was a lot of talented people at Marvel, but no one had any business sense. Well, Jim Shooter did have business sense, and his sense took the company in a different direction, and it pissed off a lot of people because people don't like change. But in the end, again, he saved that company from bankruptcy. And again, it was that there would have been no Marvel after that.
I think that's something we all can appreciate and thank him for. But let's not also forget, he started Valiant Comics, and for a good number of years, they made an impact in the comic book world to the point where I do believe they were the second largest publisher in front of DC behind Marvel. So he made some noise wherever he went. He is a true icon. Joe, you're right. He did not get along with everybody, but you know, some of the greats don't have to get along with everybody. They have to be able to work with everybody. And he got work done. So again, rest in peace, Jim Shooter. Let
me interject, Jeff. There was a reason for that. When I met him, it was unmistakable that this was a savant. This is a man who I could say the only comparison was the character Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. Extremely brilliant, but terrible with people. He didn't understand people. People didn't understand him. And so there was this distance that he kept from people because he, again, I hate to say, he was a bit of a genius. And so, and it showed in his writings. And when I got The Secret Wars, it was the first and only series to this day that I was on the edge of my seat from beginning to end. And when I left, I saw him twice. The next day I came back and I brought two of these and Secret Wars 1. He signed it for no cost. He just said, here, you know, he was signing for no cost. He was a very generous man, a very brilliant man. And he was very much part of the bullpen. If you talk about the Marvel bullpen, that's one of the main players right here. This man will be missed.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing to note is about Super Jersey, and this comes directly from Paul Brown, who is one of the founders and runners of that show, which is a great show in New Jersey that's been expanding the last couple years. He went to Jim's house to personally pick him up for this event and drive him down.
No kidding.
And when he got there, he saw the condition that Jim was in, and like I said, it was noticeable and it was unfortunate. That being said, he said to Jim, "Are you sure you want to do this? You want to like come all the way down to Jersey?" He lives in New York, near suburbs of New York City, Nyack, New York, and
he lived in Nyack. I didn't know
lives in Nyack. Yep. Yeah, right near Mr. Bronzeville Comics himself, other Jim. Anyway, he absolutely refused to stay home. He wanted to be there. He needed to be there. That was his thing. You know, he's been so involved in comics forever, and you know, it's a mid-sized show. I'm sure he wasn't making a ton of money off it. It wasn't about the money or anything like that. He wanted his last days with his fans, his supporters, his colleagues. You know, I know John Beatty was there, who worked diligently with him on Secret Wars, and you know, he wanted that time because he knew he was towards the end.
Yeah. Again, an icon in the industry. His mark was made. His legacy will last. And he loved what he did. Obviously, just that story right there, Joe. So, Joshua, we're not very good at segues, so let's just make it. Let's just move on to that next story we got here.
Yeah. So, moving on. Pam Clantiff.
Dan, we're gonna let you go for a hot second. We'll see you in a little while. Oop, nope, we don't want the full screen there. There we go.
So I tried to pronounce your last name, but Pam is being eyed to play Huntress in the Korean DCU series.
Time out. Lexi again is messing with us. She's in the TikToks, and we have 4 million people in the TikToks right now, 17 million in the YouTubes. I guarantee you she's in both. But anyways, go ahead.
So it looks like they're going to do a Korean Huntress. She'll be half mixed in with Italian, obviously, to kind of balance out the origin. And it sounds like I'm all for this, but it sounds like Gunn also said that India is also looking to do a DCU project, so they might have a superhero that, you know, might have the heritage as well. So it'll be interesting to see. You know, Huntress is obviously one of my favorite from the Bat family, and you know, I would love to see her play as Huntress. She did a great job in Guardians of the Galaxy. She also just played in the last 2 Mission Impossible movies, so I'm all up for this.
I love the idea of this, an international type Huntress, rethinking some things and getting into different markets as well. So I'm all about it too. She is a little bit of a little out there at times, but I think I think she would be awesome in this role. I mean, look at this picture here. I think this is from Mission Impossible. I could totally see her playing that role. By the way, I want to say hello to Paul Schofield. He's a bass player. I've seen some of his work on the TikToks. So hello. He is joining us live on the TikToks right now. Joseph, your thoughts on Pam Clement?
Yes. I mean, I don't want James Gunn to just reuse his same people over and over again. You know, we know we're gonna get some of them. Where you know, we got his brother obviously and everything. I would love him to see him use other actors. My personal fan casting for this was, and I want to say was, for Huntress. Man, Gina Carano would have been awesome, but unfortunately, she is a kind of a piece of crap person. So she kind of got herself canceled.
Yeah, you're right.
Not a fan of that casting anymore. But yeah, I thought she would have been great in the role. This one, I mean, obviously I got no problem with it. She's a good actor, and my only issue would be what I said before. You know, I don't want him to just keep reusing the same actors, and you know, as we saw in Guardians and stuff.
Look, we can't drone on here with the news. It already lasts long enough, but at the end of the day, all that should matter for us is a good story is told in an amazing way.
Yeah.
And I think that's all that matters. And I don't want to cut you off. I don't want to not allow you for a response, but we have to thank our sponsor. Joe, go ahead, please.
Oh, yeah. Our sponsor, very important to mention, SlabDexs. To keep your slabs shiny, pristine, and unscuffed, use SlabDexs daily. 99% gasoline, 1% blue food dye. Definitely 100%.
100% great for your slabs.
Great for your slabs, but also definitely safe. Environmentally, safe for pets. You know, if a small child ingests this, they won't die super fast. You got some time to get their stomach pumped. So, buy SlabDexs today.
Great. And by the way, I just want to shout out to Caleb, who is a bass player as well. Shouting out to Paul from YouTube to TikToks. That's how we do it here, guys. That's how we do it. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. We are the number one live show of all time ever in the YouTubes, and we're making our way to the number one live show ever of all time in the Tickety Talks. So, moving on, Joshua, what's our next news story? What do we have here?
So the talk of the town going around is that a Comic-Con this coming fall is being eyed to showcase Supergirl. obviously the only Comic-Con I can think of coming this fall, well, there's two. One being Terrificon and the other one being New York Comic-Con as well.
It's gotta
But
be
I think New York
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con is a safe bet. We did get confirmation that DC and Marvel are both skipping movie panels for San Diego Comic-Con this year because they have nothing to really show. So I definitely think New York Comic-Con is where they're going to show it. I was honestly hoping for a Supergirl trailer maybe attached to the Superman movie. I think that would make sense. But obviously not. But I've heard great things about this film, and I'm just looking more and more forward to the DCU as we move forward. And, finally we're starting to get some characters that deserve their own live action films.
Wait, stop a second. This is important. Highlight me, Jeff. SlabDexs. Put some SlabDexs on. That's a great. I love it. Great catchphrase. We're going to be using that for the rest of forever. Put some SlabDexs on.
What am I doing here?
You're not highlighting yourself. Not me again. Get out of here. Oh, this is awful. Jeff, what did you do?
Jeff, you still a little hungover from...
This guy's still partying 4th of July weekend.
Yeah, we're just removing Joshua. I like we're getting some questions here on the Tickety Talks. Yes, Paul, we have done blown up. 15 million people are currently watching us now. We'll bring Josh, our news guy, back to the show. All right. Kate, you're freaking brilliant, by the way. Moving on. Oh, by the way, yes, I highly doubt that there's going to be a Supergirl trailer before Superman. I think we would have heard, or you would have heard some buzz, since your ear is always on the street, literally getting your news sources. I would love this. And from what I'm hearing, and I think you may have told me, I don't know what it is, but like, this is a damaged person, this Supergirl. It's not like going to be this pristine, beautiful human being or Kryptonian or what have you. It's going to be a person who has seen death early in life, and it's going to be an interesting exploration into this character. Joseph, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this is just another step in the right direction for DC. I think that there's a lot of excitement around this movie, especially now that we know fan favorite Jason Momoa is going to be playing the character that he was clearly born to play, Lobo, rather than stupid fish guy. That being said, one step at a time, please. We've got Superman coming up this week. Let's wait. Let's see that. And then let's worry about Supergirl.
I mean, look, it could be possible that after this week doesn't do well, the Snyderverse could be restored. Henry Cavill could be back.
We'll get into that a little bit later. Moving on. Let's get to the MCU, Joshua.
Yeah, so we mentioned this last year about, an actor that was cast, Paul Walter Hauser was cast in Fantastic Four. Now, a lot of us speculated on Mole Man. Well, this week coming out is the official comic adaptation of Fantastic Four, The First Steps, which is a prequel comic to the movie. And literally in the comic, I should have sent this page to Jeff. It is a picture that looks just like Paul. It's pretty much confirmed at this point. He is our official Mole Man. Obviously, probably won't have much of a big role, but I hope maybe he will show up in the future in the MCU as well in other movies. We'll have to see what happens, obviously, with Fantastic Four. But he looks the part, and he's a great actor. He makes me laugh. I love him in Cobra Kai, so happy to have him join the MCU, and happy to see Mole Man on the screen, honestly.
Joseph.
Yeah, Mole Man is just as old as the Fantastic Four themselves. Issue number 1, Mole Man was the villain. He played a reoccurring role in the Silver Age. He's a little bit more, goofy of a character as compared to, characters like, Doom and the Skrulls and stuff like that. But nonetheless, I love that they're kicking off with him, at least making some sort of an appearance. I'm psyched. I'm psyched for this movie. But again, I'm going to say it again, one step at a time. We got Superman this coming week. Then we can worry about Fantastic Four.
It's just crazy. It's upon us. We've been talking about this for so long. Low T SlabDeck. And then, by the way, Dan actually found another use for it as well. Gentlemen suffering from ED, use SlabDexs, your lady. Well, thank you. Wow. Actually, do you know this personally, Dan? Just Yay or nay? Actually, I don't want to know.
Like, it comes at his age, so I'm sure he's going to
Jesus.
order a couple cases.
Here we go. Mr. Inappropriate himself. So the deal is this. Yes, let's look forward to the week of Superman that is upon us. Right now it begins, but at the same time, holy shit, I am so excited for Fantastic Four, 100%. It's going to be a great July, and we already knew this. Jurassic Park really wasn't on my radar. Maybe I'll see it. I don't even know how it's done so far, but yeah, I'm super psyched. I cannot wait.
It's killing it at the box office. They're looking at almost by tomorrow. I think they'll hit over $300 billion total worldwide so far.
Huh?
I
don't care.
I like.
Oh wait, Paul Schofield Base saw it. He said Jurassic Park had God tier VFX, visual effects, the new one. So we have somebody who has seen it. If you all have seen it as well, let us know in the chat. We're going to move on to the next news story, though.
Yeah, so moving on, our Kingpin has spoken and has revealed that there are some plans for season 3 of Daredevil Born Again, but it's up to the fans to watch and get excited. Obviously, season 2 is, I think, almost finished wrapping up in the next couple of weeks, and we'll be getting that early again next year, season 2. So if we want a season 3, which I don't think we have to watch it, but I recommend watching season 2, and I think obviously we're going to probably get a bunch of seasons of this. It's probably one of the better shows that Marvel has released recently and was well received. And honestly, more Daredevil is always welcome in my opinion. So let's see what happens.
Update: Naomi has been drinking the SlabDexs, and Dan De La Torre says, let's just say the missus is very happy thanks to SlabDexs. So we have other uses for SlabDexs. So thank you all for letting us know. I'm going to jump in here real quick, and because I know Joe's very critical of this because this is near and dear to his heart. If they're going to do a season 3, how about this? If season 2 is as successful as season 1 was in terms of Born Again, season 3 will happen. It is high quality content of a character that everybody loves. Performances are top notch. I know there was a little bit of criticism with Daredevil Born Again season 1. However, I think that will overcome in terms of the fans' views, the critics, as well as just the audience in general. I think there will be a season 3 no matter what. I am psyched for Daredevil season 2 with that black suit coming out. Joseph, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that if the Netflix show had never existed, Daredevil Born Again would be hailed as like such a phenomenal thing. It wasn't quite as good as the Netflix show. But that's okay because the Netflix show was above and beyond. And for that reason, I don't think we'll have a problem getting a season 3 and maybe even continuing on from there. You never know. I want to see more crossover with Daredevil and the other New York heroes. It seems like we're probably going to get some of that in season 2. Hopefully Peter Parker. I don't know. We'll see what goes on with that. I know there's legal issues, contract issues, and ownership issues. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this so much.
Yeah, for sure. Again, and by the way, Kate brings up a great point. Has Daredevil ever had a sequel that they wouldn't fund?
It says Disney.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that they have that we don't know about. However, with successes like this, it's hard to say no.
Yeah, and it's it's great to have something that's just truly, so grounded and so street level like Daredevil.
Sure.
Dude barely has powers. He's just got heightened senses. Like that's about as street level it gets, other than like Batman, who literally doesn't have powers.
Here's the deal. We have to get through the news here. We have to make sure Naomi's doing okay. She ingested SlabDexs. She drank it. So moving on to the next one. Oh God, this one right here. Actually, no. Yeah, this one. Go ahead, Joshua.
I feel like I'm surrounded by a bunch of hypocrites. So Ironheart has officially released all 6 episodes.
Let's bring all of us on
came
screen
out.
so to enjoy your wrath here.
All 6 episodes of Ironheart came out. Now, I'm hopeful that the rest of the canon crew, not just me, watched all 6 episodes because, like, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks or a month ago, we were all talking about how excited we are, how we want to support this, how we think it looks good and could be even better potentially. So I just want to know, did all of you guys finish this season, or am I going to have to do this review completely by myself?
Well, Josh, I watched the first 3 episodes, and then my friend and neighbor, who I watched those first 3 episodes with, went on a vacation to Florida, and I promised that I would not watch it until they're back. So, for that reason, I have not watched the last 3 episodes, but I did watch the first 3, and I enjoyed them. I thought they progressively got better. The first one was second one was okay, and the third one was a solid episode, and I'm very excited for episode 4, 5, and 6. Thank you for asking.
Go ahead, Josh.
I watched up until 5.
Hold on, it's Josh.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm allergic to bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry there. Sorry, go ahead.
You call out who you want to hear from next.
Everybody, I want to know,
All right, I'll go. I've seen the first 2 episodes, and the reason I have not seen the last 4 is Alicia, my wife.
You were busy getting married, right? Exactly.
Well, no, it's definitely her fault. She had many opportunities to watch this. I've been waiting for her, and something always comes up or she falls asleep.
Jeff, let me ask you something. If she says, "Hey, let's jump off of a bridge," you're gonna follow her? Or?
I mean, yeah, if it's a continuation of some sort of story that we both need to experience together, then yes.
All right. Moving on.
Who else has to make an excuse here?
Yeah.
I watched up until 5.
What's that? Oh, you watched to episode 5?
Okay.
This is a new no, time out. This must have just happened today because you were scared of Josh and knew this was going to happen, and you wanted to get ahead of everybody else here because
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you didn't watch the whole show. So
here's the thing: is that SlabDexs sent all of us a trial, and it kept me up to drink and watch all of, but except one. The Ironhearts.
You're twitching there a little bit.
Yeah, it's making my stomach hurt.
Oh, that's.
See, I had a different problem. I used too much SlabDexs, and blindness started to kick in, so I had to stop. So I couldn't watch episode 3. I'm up to I finished episode 2, but I skipped ahead to the very end. Not through watching the show, but through other YouTube shows I'm watching, so I know what the ending is about.
Oh.
And if I didn't like. Well, if I did like the character, I liked her. I'm very much attached to this character because of the decision she had to make at the last episode. That hit home with me. That hit home with me a lot. And that has really given me a lot of affection for this particular character. And it kind of like, it glosses over and cleans up some of the clumsiness. We all admitted that, we agreed, I should say, that the introduction of this character was a little bit rushed, a little bit.
Yes.
Yes. But this kind of catches up with that. And now I won't spoil it for those who haven't seen it, but the decision she has made or is about to make was very, very interesting to me. I think this was, can I, how spoiler?
No, there's no spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
It's out on Josh. Josh, you are getting highlighted big time here to bring us home with the Ironheart review, the official review from Josh.
All right. So let's just start off by saying no spoilers, obviously. So if you haven't seen it, you can eventually get caught up. I have watched all 6 episodes of Ironheart. And going to the show, some of us were worried due to the fact that there was no promotion until almost a month out. We didn't get a trailer until almost a month out. Also to note that this was filmed and shot, I believe, 2 years ago almost prior, so it was a different time in Marvel when they were doing some different things. With that being said, episode 1 definitely is, depending on how you feel about current Marvel and some of their past projects, you may not want to watch this. You may not like it. However, I recommend at least watching to episode 3. I feel like each episode gets better and better. Episode 3 leaves on a great cliffhanger, which, we had to wait a week to figure out what was going to happen. And ultimately, by the end, episode 5, you get to see a character, and then in episode 6, you get to finally get a character that people have been wanting to see show up in the MCU for a while. And I think it's somebody that is going to really change the game going forward and can be doing some interesting projects. We'll have to see. But ultimately, I got to say, I'd probably give Ironheart probably a 7.5 out of 10. Definitely one of the better television shows from Marvel. I thought the acting was pretty decent. It had a few odd moments in the beginning, but every actor brought their A game. I felt like the action I liked. I thought it was crystal clear and shot well as well, and I think the emotion was there. This is the backstory that honestly we should have gotten for her in Black Panther 2. Obviously, it wasn't her film, so now you get to see who she is, who Willie Williams is, and her character and her backstory and her family. And I really enjoyed it. And I'm hoping some of these characters return to future projects as well. And I think Dan, if you watch it, he probably knows this too. Moving forward with her as Ironheart, it's going to be interesting to see what her character does. And I'm also going to technically say that while I enjoyed it, I feel like at the same time, I don't know, she's not as much of a hero as Tony Stark was. She does some questionable things, especially in the last few episodes that you'll see. So, but overall, I enjoyed it, and I hope everybody else does too.
So Josh, let me ask you, since you've seen the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that the Riri Williams character should take over as the Iron Man character moving forward?
Well, she's not taking over technically. She is her own hero. She is Ironheart.
But,
But
there has to be, Iron Man is one of the main pillars of Marvel, and there has to be an Iron Man character at some point. Do you think that she is a viable replacement for that?
I'm going to jump in. I don't agree with this at all. You don't need to have a replacement for Iron Man. It's not going to happen unless they reboot. She is not the replacement for Iron Man. She is Riri Williams Ironheart, and that's a strong representation of a character from the comics that has been well received. Nobody will be replacing Tony Stark. There will not be another Tony Stark again unless this whole thing is rebooted. I personally don't think it's needed. That's just me. I just want to jump in.
Let me just back that up, Jeff. There's been a lot of talk for the last couple of years since Tony Stark is gone. Not that there's a replacement for Tony Stark, but the Iron Man character. What I mean is that in Secret Wars, James Rhodes was the Iron Man character. So there's been a lot of conversation about who would take that over. Riri was a possibility. I've always said James Rhodes should do it. I'm still fighting for
I mean,
this.
but he's this is the way I see it. James Rhodes is a War Machine, which is his own character. Riri here is Ironheart, which is her own character. I mean, those are two different. Technically, you could say they're what would you say, like cousins or something like that of the Iron Man. Technically, you know what I mean? If you're looking at just the
it's like if you look at a coach, they come from the Iron Man tree. How about that?
And let's just put it like this too. Secret Wars is coming out, and I'm just gonna say it like it is. If you think that eventually we're not gonna see Steve Rogers or probably Tony Stark again in the MCU, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they reset the universe and we do have an official Tony Stark and Steve Rogers return. But at the same time, and I saw some people say this, this is a woke show and they recast Iron Man to be a black woman. No, she has her own. Listen, she's in the comics. She worked alongside Tony. She has her own series in the comics. She was her own character. She's not a replacement for Iron Man, just like how James Rhodes is not a replacement. He's his own character, his own suit of armor. So that's where I kind of stand with that. I think, one day could we see Iron Man? Maybe, but it's not needed.
Yeah, here's the way I see it. I mean, I think that she is a next generation character. I think that we still Rhodey is still in the MCU. Dude's still alive. He was paralyzed. He was a Skrull for a little bit. There were for actually a while. There was a lot of things that happened with that character. He's still around though, and we still have an Avengers team that's coming together. Whether it's the young Avengers or the new Avengers or whatever they call it, I think she's just going to be a next generation character. I don't think that she needs to replace anyone. I don't think that anyone specifically needs to replace anyone. This is not a D&D team. We don't need a healer and a tank. We, sure, there's tropes in comic books. There's, the speedsters. They're helpful. They're useful, when you have them. But every team doesn't need to have a speedster.
No, I think she's a modern representation of what Tony Stark could have been if he wasn't Tony Stark. And I think that was the whole thing is like, people are always like, well, would Tony Stark be Tony Stark if he wasn't a billionaire? Like he's still a genius, but he didn't have the funding. And she is that question being answered. Who would a genius be without the financial backing? And she answers it right there. I think that's like a really cool wave. I don't think she's going to replace anybody.
Well, the conversations I was listening to were based on the Falcon character taking over as Captain America. And so logically, from their perspective, there should be another Iron Man. And if Thor passed on, there should be another Thor, that sort of thing. This is kind of old school thinking because there was always those pillars in Marvel. So there may not, you guys may be right, there may not be a new Iron Man of sorts. You're going to have your own individual characters, which it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think we might see a variant in Doomsday or Secret Wars, but yeah, I
agree with that.
I think when we reset the universe, either they're going to reset it enough to where Steve Rogers and Tony Stark come back and there's new actors cast, or we're just going to move on and, Sam Wilson will stay as Cap and Iron Man will probably just, no longer be around. Or the
let me interject here. I'm going to take another sip of SlabDexs. Thank you to our sponsor, SlabDexs.
Easy, Dan. Easy.
Dan,
Wait,
your wife needs a break. Okay,
I can't see you guys anymore. My screen went blank. What happened? Where's everyone?
Dan, you've been dipping too much into the SlabDexs. Please take a break.
I don't like
drink some water. Naomi and Dan, we're going to try and get through as much as possible of the news before we bring you back in. So please stand by. Both of you, do not drink too much SlabDexs. Thank you. Also want to remind you all, we're going to be doing an Ask Joe. It's been a while, we know. So get those Ask Joe questions ready. And Jeff.
All right, let's try to knock out these rumors real quick.
Let's do it.
So rumors, we got 3 rumors going on this week. Obviously, no spoilers. Marvel Studios is reportedly deciding whether to develop Nova and the Strange Academy as a TV show or possible movie, which would be interesting. I honestly would rather them go the TV show route, just because I feel like if you do a 6 to 8 episodes, you can build more of a story, get more emotion with the characters. I mean, you could do a movie, but a 2-hour movie, especially for Strange Academy that has multiple characters involved, I think a TV show would do that great. And we're hearing a lot of characters will be in the Nova show as well. So hopefully they do TV shows for both of these, but who knows? We'll see what they decide to do.
Yeah, I've been saying a Strange Academy show literally since like the early days of that run. When it come out, 2021 or something like that, 2020.
It was right during the pandemic because there was issues with the release of the actual book, and I think it's a lower print run than most books during that time before COVID.
Yeah.
And actually one of the characters appeared in. Never mind.
Here we go.
Something. That being said, I'm hoping that they do this as a show. It could be a really good ensemble cast show where they delve into these younger characters and stuff and pave the way for future projects.
Yeah, I'm all about it. I think it would be amazing. It could be even geared to a younger audience, but bringing that adults in as well. It's got a huge potential and just a ton of new characters that are not too mainstream at all, that are fresh. And again, what we were talking about, the next generation of characters.
Yeah, and as far as Nova, I'm less stoked on this one. Not that I'm not into it, just it's not a character that I'm really into or anything like that. But they could do a movie, they could do a show, and I think it'd be fine. It being just one character, it's a little bit easier to, flesh things out in a movie versus an ensemble cast like Strange Academy.
For sure. Well said. All right, Josh, what do we got next for rumors?
Yeah, so if you're a fan of The Last of Us game or potentially the show, well, the star Bella Ramsey is being eyed for a big role in the MCU, and it's rumored that they're looking at her to play Kitty Pryde in the X-Men reboot. Personally, I hope this is not true. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I love the game. I do not like the show. I do not like this actress. She was miscast for the role as Ellie. It makes no sense. And if you see some of her acting on the show, I do not think she would do well as Kitty Pryde. That's my take on this rumor.
I only watched the first 2 episodes of this show, or 3 episodes or something. It just wasn't my thing. I thought she was really good. Maybe she's just not good as the character because I've never played the game. I don't know, but
she
I
looks
see Naomi with
yeah.
issues here, by the way. We're going to bring Naomi in. She's backstage shaking
She
her
looks nothing like Ellie, and
Wash your face right now. I swear my life. So
yeah, I thought
the
everyone
game-
loved the show.
She said,
No,
shut your
okay.
face, by the way.
The game, the actress who played Ellie in the game made an appearance as her mom in the show, and she looks exactly like her. So I think that's why they casted her, and she did a great job. She did really good, but I thought that was extremely clever that they took the actress who actually played her in the video game, brought her on the show, made her her mom, and now she looks exactly like her. So I thought that was pretty smart. I know that might have went over your head, Josh. But
Oh snap!
Yo, that SlabDexs
I
is
think
really
what's
getting
happening is all the chemicals from SlabDexs is just getting into your brain, and it's just
all right, let's move on here because I think Naomi will have a say in this final rumor of the evening. Let's go.
Oh, moving on. So this is a great rumor that I hope happens. I'm all for this. Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 is apparently in development at Lucasfilms. I liked Season 1. I really liked having both of our great actors come back. Hayden is one of the best actors to ever grace the films. I don't care what Joe thinks or says. This is my segment, so he's just going to have to deal with it. But I will say that I think a Season 2 would be awesome to see, and they could go a different route. I don't know if Vader would return, but obviously Obi-Wan has to go through his training, and maybe we'll get an older, teenage Luke, potentially a couple years, and maybe see some training or stuff going on with him. So,
Naomi, why don't you jump in here?
I am excited for this. I think this is gonna be great. I love Hayden Christensen, so I will not have any Hayden slander. And yeah, I actually am thinking that they might have a teenage Luke. I agree with that. I think that would be really cool.
Oh, that'd be dope. Here's the deal, though, real quick. I'm going to jump in before Joe. I absolutely want to see this, but Hayden Christensen is not a good actor. But I would like to see it with Hayden Christensen. Joe, your turn. I teed you up.
Despite Hayden Christensen being one of the worst actors of all time, Ewan McGregor makes up for that. He is phenomenal. I've never seen an actor portray the same character so well in the way that Ewan McGregor mimics the facial expressions, the cadence in his voice. Literally every aspect of Sir Alec Guinness's phenomenal performance as Obi-Wan. It's unreal. It's like watching a younger Alec Guinness doing it. It feels like that to me. And I've never seen that in a movie where a character is recast or anything like that. And a lot of situations, the new actor wants to put their own spin on it. Yeah, there's obviously a big difference between Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland in their take on Spider-Man, because it's a different thing, and this is in the same continuity, but it's jaw-dropping.
I don't think he gets enough credit for that, to be honest with you. I think it's the commitment to that and the love for the character is what he brings out. He's so good at it. I think the consensus is everybody wants to see it. Who would be against something like this? I liked the Obi-Wan series. I think it was a little not too divisive, right? But it was. I liked it, and let's hope that this really does kind of push through. All right, with that there it will end the news, but we have so much more to talk about.
Just delivers the news and rumors.
All right, what we have to talk about, we're going to bring in the judge as well because we need his input. Because before we get to what our Superman thing here, there's been a big feud going on within our community, and it's a little bit concerning. It is sponsored by SlabDexs, by the way. I don't think the participants knew it was sponsored because none of us knew it was sponsored. The show was sponsored before this evening. So, Joe, real quick.
This episode of Comic Book Canon is brought to you by SlabDexs. For all your slab cleaning, polishing, and shining needs, trust SlabDexs. 99% gasoline.
Take my word for it. Use with caution.
Yes. Anyways, so here's the deal. There is a beef, and one of the Canon crew members on the show tonight is part of this beef. I think a lot of you know exactly what we're talking about here. So let's just get into it. We had a submission here. It's not a fresh from the comic shop. Why is this not coming up? Oh, I know why. We got to go to this lookout right here. It's not a fresh from the comic shop, but it is the big beef here. It has been
The big beef.
that's what we're calling this, the big beef. So Nori Jordan.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Why am I highlighted into the big beef?
Joe, are you part of the big beef?
The big beef.
Naomi, are you part of the big beef?
I'm not.
No, sir.
Dan, are you part of the big beef?
I have nothing to do with it, but I can rule against it.
Josh, listen. It has been 2 weeks since Josh launched a surprise attack on the Thunderbolts community. As we mourn the loss of an innocent book, we must look to the future and hope there will be no future attacks. I personally have never criticized Josh for the books he collects. Good for him for loving Batman, a character who has a history of taking in young boys and dressing them up in spandex. This week, I was able to provide a safe home for 3 Thunderbolts #1s. As the team's creator Baron Zima would say, cut the head off one head, and 2 more shall take its place. Total is at 91. Take care, everyone. So he's still replenishing his Thunderbolts. And for those that may have forgotten what actually Josh did, please take a look at this. Where is it? There we go.
We've given him every opportunity to succeed on the canon. Week in and week out, he pulls this same crap.
Thunderbolts #1, my favorite book in the PC, but I'm going to show you guys why. 2! Oh!
You just destroy your favorite book in your PC?
Oh god, that's fucking terrible.
Oh my god.
For clout.
Oh, now maybe you'll get.
I just got to eat a quick snack to make myself feel better.
I know a lot of you are parents. We're parents on the canon too. I've just lost any type of strategy on how to rein him in. Please, if anybody can help, we'd love to hear your video comments, see your video comments in the replies.
The big beef, everybody. Like and subscribe if you have not done so already, because we're going to allow Josh to give a reply to what's going on here.
Why is he making that face?
Did you
That's
drink
a blue
too much
steel.
SlabDexs?
I just bought another copy off of Paul Bond last night.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So that's your official reply right there. That's what we have. That's it.
You know what my official reply is? Since, Mr. Thunder shits himself, Nori Jordan will be at Terrificon, I'm laying down a challenge. Let's see who can buy the first 100 Thunderbolts on the con floor. If he gets them, great. If I get them, I'm going to burn them down to the ground. I promise you that.
Oh, outstanding. By the way, we have some replies here. my wife wants to know, please explain why you did that. And before, start thinking about that. I can't wait to buy one and force Josh to sign it. Make him sign it as the Big Beef. I didn't even realize that would be
the Big Beef.
Nice
Yeah, we need to put that in a T-shirt. Honestly,
Oh, here we go. He wants to make his own T-shirts for himself.
Or the best part would be get a pair of boxers and put it in the front.
Oh my God, here we go. He's
and on the
enjoying
back,
this way too much.
All
right. That's it. The challenge is out there. That is your response. We're going to move on. Thank you for that, everybody. Just wanted to keep everybody in touch as to what's going on in this community because it makes everybody very awkward. Okay.
Before we move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I just want to address this comment. Superman is very political. Literally since the Golden Age, Superman and comics in general have been political. So I don't know if you're saying it's dumb because you don't think it's political, or if you're saying it's dumb because it's so obvious, like, duh, it's political. But comics have always been political.
I don't know.
He wears 1/3 of the U.S. initials on his outfit.
Well, listen, I don't know who Snacky is. We respect opinions if you think it's dumb to say, but this is kind of like saying somebody going to Rage Against the Machine, a concert, right? Listening to their music, but then they go to the concert and they hear them talk in between songs and like, keep the politics out of the music, man. It's like Rage Against the Machine is all politics. It's all about putting things right that are wrong. So yeah, it's Superman and comics in general have always been part of that discussion. So for sure. Yep. Anyways, I'm a little off track, off kilter, but we're going to get to it right now because we're going to talk about Superman and what Superman means to all of us. It was an assignment I sent to the Canon crew, and everybody's like, whatever, I don't care. Except for Josh. I'm going to go first, though, because I'm going to talk about Superman, what it means to me. I'm very excited about this Superman movie. Very, very excited. However, what Superman means to me was a moment with my dad. Watching Christopher Reeves on the big screen, I had a temperature of, I think, 104 from what I've been told. I was 4 years old watching this movie and just in absolute awe, right? Just in absolute awe about it. I loved this film. Everything about it just resonates with me. The music, the acting, the characters, everything. So this was kind of an introduction to comic book characters for me, even though I was watching like the Justice League cartoon show and I loved that. Anytime they had Spider-Man on TV, I would watch that as well. And Spider-Man is my favorite character of all time. But Superman means this to me. It's about family for me, and I will always connect Superman to my dad. He loves these films. I don't know when I'm going to get back down to visit with my dad next to hopefully see the new film with him, but I hope I get to. I know he's probably going to go to the theater and see it. So I'm very excited for this film. That's what Superman means to me. And I'm going to pass this along to Joe.
Yeah. Bad news for you, Jeff. I'm actually seeing Superman with your dad. So he told me that he loves me more than he loves you, and that he wanted to drive up to the Philadelphia area and see Superman with me. We're doing that. We're going to go
He's
catch a
probably going to buy the tickets and make sure you get fed too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we're going out to dinner.
Let you pay. It will be an argument. He always does that. But anyway,
we're going to a ball game, and he told me the next morning we can go outside and have a game of catch.
Jesus.
So I know that's not something you ever got to experience because your dad.
That's actually not true.
Yeah, I know. No, you love your parents. You're real close with them. Anyway, Superman. So this to me, as I've said many times on here, I'm not a Superman fan, but this movie signifies to me a rebirth of DC's cinematic universe, which now is called the DCU, not the DCEU anymore, not the CU, because Marvel already took that one, but the cinematic universe of the DC continuity, whatever it's called, it's getting a reboot, a much needed reboot after a lot
needed reboot. That's an
disorganization, a lot of dropped balls, and not in the good way. And I'm excited to watch this happen and hopefully enjoy it enjoy it. You know, not that there's never been a Superman movie I enjoy. I've seen the Christopher Reeve ones, and they're great, at least the first two. But I really didn't enjoy a lot of stuff from the last like 15 or so years from DC, and this gives them a chance to reboot, reorganize. James Gunn is, like we talked about Jim Shooter, a visionary. He clearly has his sights set on something, and he's able to put it into action, as we've seen multiple times. SlabDexs, it makes your balls drop. Yeah, so yeah, this signifies rebirth to me. That's what I want to see. And I'm looking forward to Tuesday.
For sure. All right, Joshua, you are up next, because I think you were one of the only ones that, well, actually everybody's prepared here. So, Josh, what do we got?
Yeah, I brought two things with me, but ultimately Superman for me is, and like Joe said, a rebirth, a new era for DC in the mainstream, a reset universe. You know, there were some good movies before in the past, but DC has been a mess, and it looks like we're finally going to get an actual faithful, real adaptation of Superman. While Christopher Reeves did have that, but it wasn't a universe. You know, it was self standalone movie and everything, and this is going to give us a grand universe ahead, and it's also technically the first like real superhero in comics. And I want to show off two books. One that I bought is a Action Comics 50th anniversary reprint that I actually won off of Joe in a free giveaway a few years ago, and I took this out and read it, and I'm super excited for the new Superman film because it gives me the Silver Age vibe off of the comics, and that's what they're going for. And I think Silver Age Superman is one of the best eras of Superman we've ever gotten. But I'm also excited because it's introducing a few characters, a character that I actually enjoyed and have been wanting to see on the big screen for a long time. And this is an exclusive here for Comic Book Canon. I just got this in last week and haven't unboxed it until today. This is JSA Secret Files #1 and a 9.8. And you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with Superman? Well, this is the first appearance of Kendra Sanders, who is the new Hawkgirl that is going to be in Superman. And I'm excited to see Hawkgirl played, and I cannot wait to see her in the DCU move forward. Obviously, she's going to be in Peacemaker, but it's a brand new universe, and I'm hoping that we get to the point where we get a great Justice League story on the screen as well, and we get to see all the players involved. And at the end of the day, Superman really means hope. So I just have hope that this movie is going to be great and do well, and hope that, you know, James Gunn, who does know comic books and does know how to do a great comic book movie, I have hope that he does the universe well.
For sure. That was actually well said. I thought the big beef was going to come in and kind of tear things up, but
the big beef.
Dan, you're up next, buddy.
Well, since Josh brought up the Action Comics #1, let's talk about the comic itself. I try to think back in 1938 when it was first introduced. It must have been one of the most mind-blowing concepts ever. This is the first superhero who could lift a vehicle above his head. He could fly. He had all these powers, and it had to be just mind-blowing. That was the beginning of the golden age, and then Batman, Flash, and Green Lantern, and of course Wonder Woman came afterwards. So that was an incredible era. But over the years and decades that I've watched the Superman persona, with all the power that he has never been portrayed as arrogant. Someone could easily do that with that sort of power, just go overboard and say, I'm taking over, I'm better than you. That's not the Superman that I remember. And this is all the incarnations of Superman, including Super Friends and the Justice League and the comics that I read and so forth. It's a difficult character to write for because of his power. But look, I've been critical of James Gunn, not because of this upcoming movie. I've been critical of James Gunn because of what he's done. But I'm rooting for this. I'm going there open-minded. I want to see, again, I look at it from a different perspective than all of you. if I'm entertained, and if there's a connection that I can bring back to my childhood, hey, that's a celebration and a win for me. But again, this is the ultimate character. Of all the years since I've been collecting, if there's one comic I could get my hands on, it would be an Action Comics #1. I've never, in all the years I've been collecting, I've never seen one. I've never seen one in person. That's how rare they are, and they're unbelievably expensive. But again, the Superman will always hold a very special place with me, like all the characters. So we'll see what happens this week.
We will indeed. And then finally, our newest member of the canon, Naomi, who always is put last until we get that newer member. More newer member, if you're grammatically correct, I do believe. What do you got, Naomi? What are you excited about with Superman?
Okay, so I bought this shirt. I thought it was really cool from Box
dope.
Lunch. Yeah, I like it a lot. And I am currently in New Jersey, so I get to see Superman in a whole different state. But literally everything that you guys said was pretty much what I was thinking. Like the character himself, what it's bringing to the DC, having like the Silver Age up there, and I really am very excited for Hawkgirl. I've always really liked Hawkgirl, so it's going to be really exciting to see that, and I get to see it here in Jersey, so I'm excited.
Very exciting indeed. In Jersey, I think they probably have they have Twizzlers instead of Red Vines in Texas, I would say, right?
You can get Twizzlers and Red Vines in Texas.
Red Vines are a joke, an absolute joke, and an atrocity to
Red Vines are delicious. You can drink.
Yeah.
You can drink.
Honestly, how are you not?
Wow.
You're gonna go Red Vines? You're gonna say Red Vines?
Jeff,
I bet you like fucking sheets and bullshit like that too.
Oh my god,
Wow.
This is atrocious. We're gonna need a review on this, actually, guys. Wow, Josh is loving this. He's like, finally, I'm not kicked off. Finally, well, actually, you are.
Yeah.
We're heading Naomi back. All right, so here's the deal.
Actually, I've been to a Sheets now. You said Sheets, right? Like the gas station?
Yeah,
over Wawa. Do you better
Wawa.
Yeah. No. I went there and I was like, this place sucks. I like.
Cool.
And I've been to a Wawa too, so I liked Wawa better.
You have redeemed yourself,
and I got to see the Eagle Stadium today. I was really excited about that.
She did it to herself again. Like literally, I was going to give her props for what she said about the Cowboys. Like months ago. But anyways, moving on, we're going to get back to those fun people that we just kicked off really soon. But again, let us know what Superman means to you, how excited you are for Superman in the comments. Please get your comments ready for Ask Joe. That will be up next, but we're going to talk about a Superman Did You Know? And Dan, I want to throw it your way because there's no offense here. You've lived a longer life than we have so far. Actually, you all
old as shit.
Think of me as a time traveler. I was there when you guys
Did you know that every generation has its own Superman?
Yes, I did.
Just pretend like you didn't.
Did you know? Every generation gets its own Superman. Superman may be the most iconic superhero in the world, but he's also one of the most frequently reimagined. From his debut in 1938 up until today, Superman's powers, personality, and even his origin story have gone through major overhauls. Sometimes to stay relevant, and sometimes to fix what wasn't working. One of the biggest shakeups came in 1986. After Crisis on Infinite Earths, DC handed Superman to writer and artist John Byrne with one goal: make Superman more relatable. Byrne stripped away the godlike power levels. No more moving planets, no more juggling galaxies. This Superman was strong, but not invincible. He was grounded, emotional, and more human than ever before. And that wasn't the only reinvention. Superman's gone from Golden Age social crusader to Silver Age space adventurer to Bronze Age icon to modern-day symbol of hope. Every generation seems to get its own version of the Man of Steel. And now, with James Gunn's new Superman movie hitting theaters, we're about to get another chapter in the ongoing evolution of the world's first superhero. So, what do you think? What's your favorite era of Superman? Let us know in the comments. And if you didn't know, now you do.
So there you go, everybody. Superman has been reinvented over many decades here because Superman is the first superhero of all time, and probably one of the greatest. I'm a Spider-Man fan, a diehard Spider-Man fan, but Superman is kind of the mold. So your thoughts real quick, everybody, on Superman being redefined. I want to start with Dan real quick.
Well, there's lots of eras where I liked the Superman. I'll just mention the one where I didn't like him, where he had that long kind of 90s hair. Yeah, that was just, that just didn't work for me.
The Uncle Jesse, yeah.
Yeah.
Uncle Jesse.
Yeah. I'm enjoying the newest incarnation of Superman, Absolute Superman. The Absolute lineup is fantastic for DC. I'm really enjoying all of those. More than the regular kind of DCU proper. So, yeah. Kamikaze in the house. Hello, sir. Joseph, real quick.
Oh, yo, Calico Chris in the house. What's up, man? Yeah, so I think my favorite Superman stuff is more like Elseworld stuff. Because like I'm not a Superman fan, so like different takes on the character, particularly Kingdom Come Superman and Red Sun Superman.
Yeah.
Those are some very good ones. If you haven't checked those out, I do also want to shout out Jim, aka Bronzeville Comics. Go watch his most recent YouTube video, whether you're a Superman fan or know nothing about the character. He does a like decade by decade breakdown of Superman's evolution through comics, radio syndication, television, film, Broadway, like literally every Superman project he talks about, and different times in the comics that different writers and artists were on, and what that era meant to the character. It's like an hour-long video, and it's like a must-watch prior to this movie. So Bronzeville Comics on YouTube, go check that out.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to get this started here. Get your questions in for this next segment coming up.
Ask Joe. Ask Joe. Ask Joe. Ask Joe. Whoa! And Jeff.
And Jeff and Dan and Josh and Naomi. All right, we're going to get to it. And I know, Joe, you are not a huge Superman fan, but don't worry, we got your back. We got a few of us here to help you out with Superman stuff. Ask Joe and crew, what is one Superman story you would recommend every reader check out? I'm going to jump in real quick and tell you Man of Steel by John Byrne, which is what was discussed in that. Did you know? John Byrne was, I've mentioned this so many times, is my favorite artist. John Byrne, as a kid, it was like, oh, wait, artists have different styles. So John Byrne wrote and drew the revamp or the reboot of Superman After Crisis. That's what got me hooked onto Superman. And John Byrne's Superman is amazing. I absolutely love the Man of Steel miniseries that led into the first Superman volume 2. I guess it's volume 2. I would highly recommend starting off with Man of Steel if you have not already, Caleb. Anybody else want to jump in on this question right now, please?
I already answered the question before. Kingdom Come and Red Sun.
Don't be a dick about it, though, okay? Anybody else?
I would say there are two eras that I recommend. One, the Jack Kirby era. People forget that Jack Kirby was writing for Superman back in the 70s. But also the Copper Age really has grabbed my attention. They're incredibly inexpensive, but great reads. And so I'm shifting over to Superman whenever I can find them. Those are my recommendations.
Very good. Joshua?
I would say Superman for all seasons. You can pick it up in the absolute format, and it's about a Superman who is dying, and you get to see his last few months and how he just does his best to inspire hope and keeps on fighting to the very end and inspires people to do better. I think it's a great read.
Well done. Again, I want to throw an absolute. I don't know, Naomi, I don't feel like you're into the Superman these days, but feel free if you like. Man, you're getting some actually these. Oh, damn. That's another segment we didn't do tonight. All right, we're going to move on to the next question here. Naomi's getting some questions directed at her. But before we get to that, we're going to have Derek here. Ask Joe, what book and artist will be on the first comic canon SlabDexs exclusive variant? That reminds us, Joe.
Let's see. What book and artist will be on the first comic book?
Joe, we have to.
We're up for the commercial. It's commercial time.
Oh, it's commercial time. This episode is brought to you by SlabDexs. That was supposed to be like an edited thing, but I tried to do it with my voice. It didn't work very well. That's okay. SlabDexs for all your slab cleaning, shining, polishing, pleasuring.
Pleasuring. Yeah, that works. That works.
I do. Yeah, you can use this as lubricant for whatever you need it for, but that's another story. Who will be on the slab artist cover? I'm thinking about go with some up and comers, Alex Ross, John Romita Jr., Scotty Young, some lesser known artists that I want to kind of bring to the forefront of the comic book community.
All right. I like that. I was kind of not paying attention, but it sounded really good because I was dealing with yo, this is a damn shame. Actually, I'm going to ask Jeff, any beef now that Naomi just grabbed that Superman shirt but not repping your t-shirt? First of all, it is not my t-shirt brand, and I'm actually there's some things here that are happening that hopefully we can announce next week, but I can't say anything, but it's not my brand. It's owned by a gentleman by the name of Rexy, and I'm not kidding. So don't call him Rex. Just letting you all know. That's a little tease, hopefully for next week. Ask Naomi. Naomi. We said we were going to do this every week. I don't know if it's going to be difficult for you to do. What's tomorrow's? You're killing it with this, by the way. What's tomorrow's Star Wars affirmation? Can they have a sneak peek?
Sure. I have it right here with me because I carry it around. No, I don't. It just was in the bag I had. Okay, I got one. Give me come back to me because then I have to.
Okay, we'll come back to that question. That's fair. That's fair.
Also, Paul, shove it. I didn't know he had a t-shirt brand.
Don't worry about it. It's not your fault because it's not my t-shirt brand. It all will be explained. Calico Chris Tattoo, Astro Swamp, or Man, who's got the better thing?
Love both characters, but hands down, one of them is more my favorite, and that is Swamp.
I knew you were going to say that, and probably because of that early horror, the Bernie Wrights and stuff, right? Am I right?
I mean, they came out right at the same time. But Bernie Wrightson is, in my opinion, the better artist, and Len Wein, in my opinion, is the better writer. And not only that, but Alan Moore wrote the character. It's pretty hard to beat a character that Alan Moore really fleshed out. Like, he is the one who gave Swamp Thing his, the majority of his mythos. So I got to go Swamp Thing on this one. Although I do like Man Thing and very much enjoyed seeing him in the Werewolf by Night Halloween special that came out 3 years ago and everyone forgot about.
And there is, James Gunn has mentioned something about Swamp Thing coming soon, although it looks like the first horror turn they're going to take is Clayface, which we're all very excited about for sure. Before we get to the affirmation, just want to say Paul is a little pissed. That's a big beef move. But that is trademarked by the man himself, the big beef on our show. He's going to have problems with you. So expect to hear.
Mr. Beef to you, Paul.
Yeah. Let me comment on the Swamp Thing, Man Thing thing. The first comic I ever bought was back in 1976. It was Hulk versus Man Thing. And it was a Bernie Wrightson cover. I still have it to this day. It's loved to death. It's probably a 1-0. But that was my beginnings of comic book collecting. And I still love the Man Thing this day simply because there's a mystery to this character. There's so much mystery still about what it is, how it came into being, and so forth. But and I know Swamp Thing is probably the better character, but I'm just going on my personal bias because that was the very, very first comic I ever bought.
There's no wrong answer here, especially something that's near and dear to your heart, which is what we do here, especially with our next segment coming up. Before we get to that, Naomi, what do we have?
All right, so Star Wars affirmation for today is: who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? Have faith in others, but don't follow them blindly. Trust your judgment to know when someone is a worthy leader. Furthermore, it says, Obi-Wan Kenobi's plan to escape the Death Star is dangerous and uncertain, and Han Solo is the first to let him know that fact. But since Han doesn't have a better idea, he decides to follow Obi-Wan's lead anyway. Have you ever done something you would consider foolish? Was it your idea or someone's else? Could you have come up with a different plan, Mr. Beef?
Oh,
Information today.
Let's throw out a quick commercial here. If you use SlabDexs, you will be following the fool blindly. Trust me on this one. There you
Dan,
go.
can you see anything?
No. What?
Figured. I can't hear you now. Anyways. All right. With
Where's
that
my
there, that ends.
That's Joe. That's Joe. That's Joe. That's Joe. Whoa! And Jeff.
And Josh and Dan. All right. Thank you all for those questions. Please like and subscribe if you have not done so already. We are in the home stretch, the final segment of the show, the one you all know and love. It is
Fresh! Fresh from the comic shop. Your collection's treasures ready to pop. It's time to share, don't let it flop. Fresh from the comic shop. Take a shot, make it bright, give it style and flair. Show a book that's unique, something rare out there. Tell us why it matters, what's the story behind. Pull at our heartstrings and you'll surely shine.
Sponsored by Crafty Comics, where collections flex their style. Museum quality slabs and displays with 99% UV protection. Because your fresh gets deserved the spotlight.
Fresh from the comic shop. That's right, y'all.
So looks like what you would see if you drank too much SlabDexs.
Have you been sipping the juice there, Joe?
Flipping on that scissor.
No.
Is the bottle empty? All right.
With my straight edge watch, just drinking cleaner.
Some SlabDexs, no big whoop. All right, that's right. We ask you to send in your fresh gets each and every week. You never disappoint. On the Instagrams, that's right. Hashtag FFTCS. Make sure to tag us in the picture, not in the description. If it's in the description, we will not see it in the picture. Keep in mind, 3 criteria we look for to move on to the semifinals. It is a competition, and everybody will be winning something, and hopefully we can announce that very soon. 3 criteria are: take a well-composed shot, Joe. No.
Oh, you're passing it to me? Well-composed shot.
Yeah,
you want me to do the thing? Is that what you want me to do?
Do that, and then I'm just throwing it your way too.
Yeah. Also, show us something that's unique. And unique, Josh, unique doesn't have to be
$50 million.
Okay, no, it's $30,000, Josh.
Oh, whatever.
Get this man out of here. Get this man out of here. $30,000. It doesn't have to be. It could be a 30-cent comic.
Always has to throw a tantrum about something.
Yeah. Well, show's over, guys. It's ruined. Everything's done. I quit.
We put so much work into this too, by the way.
Naomi, you're gonna have to move back to Mexico or wherever you're from. And Dan, we're gonna have to put you down. Sorry.
What? Well, that's SlabDexs is really getting to you. I'm the only one here who has not drank some SlabDexs.
We're being so mean to each other tonight. I'm sorry. Bring Josh back. I love all of you.
God.
Continue with the show. Naomi, you can stay in America.
Oh my God, it's really getting bad. And then the last thing we look for is tell us something that means something to you, pull at our heartstrings, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, I just want to let you all know that the finals for June is set, and I'm an asshole for not putting it up there to vote. It is Spud versus Mark Leneker. We'll have it up tomorrow, I promise. It will be set up for the June finals. We'll be able to announce who the winner of June is next week. All right, here we go. So we're just going to jump right into these amazing, fresh gets, which are, oh, by the way, just a reminder, our January winner is Mons Comics. February is Dr. Plagueis himself. March winner is super.crispy.comics. April's winner is Nori, Jordan Joshua's, or actually the Big Beef's nemesis. May, we have Mike Hags. And then June, we'll figure that out by tomorrow or end of day Tuesday or something. First up, we have Raising Elm. Howdy, comic fam. I recently ordered a decently high-grade copy of Strange Tales, issue 167. That means I'm approximately 10 issues away from completing my Strange Tales run from issue 110 to 188. Of course, I'm still on the hunt for Strange Tales 110. However, I'm quite pleased with grabbing this issue, especially with such a patriotic cover. I also ordered a copy of Thunderbolts issue 1, which I plan to put in the witness protection so Josh, aka the Big Beef, won't be able to consume it. Happy 4th of July to you all, and much love, comic fam. That is a well done. He does a great job every freaking time, and he is eligible to move on to the semifinals. Just throwing that out there. Who has some comics they want to show? I know not everybody does.
By the way, that was a great Jim Steranko cover.
Yep.
Yep. Hey, Joe, real quick. With the SlabDexs, if you on your head, does it help it grow back?
Yeah, someone said in the chat earlier it does. Let's hear it, Jeff.
Does it?
Jeff, ready? Come towards me. No, other way.
Ow, you got it in my eye, you dick.
Sorry, man.
Is that the first time you've done that?
As far as me, fortunately, I look very good bald, so I don't need to grow hair back.
God, it is getting raw in here.
Man.
Anyways, who's
how
got
many
Josh?
how many
got some
books
news
do you
show?
need to show off?
All right, I got some books to show off.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right, no, okay.
No, that's
fine.
It is let's just
Okay, all right. Let's do this quickly. Let's show all of our books off at the same time. So I've got my 3. 2 of these are from Dollar Bin Diving. This is a great book here, Teen Titans number 43 from the early 2000s run. This has the first appearance, or rather, it's more of a cameo, but first appearance of a bunch of characters, mostly superhero and supervillain kids. So this is like the first appearance of Enigma, the daughter of Riddler, and others in that same vein, expanding the Teen Titans universe. And really cool cover as well, showing a bunch of DC characters. It's only about a $5 book. It's not a very expensive key or anything like that, but for $1, I picked that out of the dollar bin. This I pulled out of the dollar bin because this has been voted the worst comic book cover of all time. I have to agree with it. This is Wolverine Revolver. It is a one-shot, and it is terrible. Wolverine's face. Absolutely ridiculous. It looks like Gary Busey.
That is pretty bad.
So,
oh my God, that's
I
so
got
good.
that again, only about like a $5 or so book, but because it is voted the worst comic book cover of all time, a lot of people collect it. I'm fuzzy. Last one I got here. I did not get this from a dollar bin, but I got it for just $5. This is 4-Color Comics number 456. And I got to remember the exact key significance of this book. It is a Karl Barks book, of course. He was the one who really popularized Donald and Scrooge and the Ducks and stuff. Let's see. Key Collector says, what issue is this? 456. Why isn't this coming up?
We have 17 million people waiting on you.
I know. I'm the worst. 456. There we go.
Third Uncle Scrooge.
It's actually not listed. Oh, it's Third Uncle Scrooge. Okay, there we go. Third Uncle Scrooge. So early appearance. I think it is the first like solo story in 4-Color, or the first Uncle Scrooge in 4-Color or something like that as well. But third appearance, either way, this is not a $5 book by any means. And this one was actually a nice solid mid-grade copy. So up. Where did everyone go? Here we are. Jeff, take it away.
Disaster tonight. Goodness. Again, more
buttered sausage. That is the best reference, Comic Ozzy.
Moving on.
I kiss it on the lips.
Where are we? Oh, Goonish Lurker. Hello, Goonish Lurker. Where are you, buddy? Been a while since I've submitted to Comic Book Canon. I haven't been buying much lately, but Journos, a.k.a. Chris, had some old horror magazines I couldn't pass up, including this number 57 issue of Creepy from 1973. The cover was done by Spanish painter Jeez. San Julian, who had done a ton of pieces for Dell and Warren. Probably most known for his Conan covers, and he did one of my all-time favorite covers for Vampirella, which I still have in a frame. Hope y'all enjoy. That's a really cool cover. Very cool cover. And Goonish is eligible, by the way. Yeah. God, everybody's loving the SlabDexs. It's a perfect partnership, Joe. I'm glad you found Slab. I mean,
listen, this was impromptu. Like literally 10 minutes before the show. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this.
Stop.
Oh my God, you're so clever, Joe.
Thanks, Mom.
Oh, I'm seeing another little beef here going on. This is so much fun in front of our eyes. Joshua, what do you got real quick?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a Superman theme here. Showing off Superman Adventures issue number 1. First Adventures of Superman from the hit cartoon show. It's a great pickup. This one, which I think is an underrated key. I don't understand why it's so cheap. Action Comics issue number 662. And it's the first time that Lois Lane finds out that Clark is actually Superman. I mean, I know it's not a big thing, but I feel like it should
is.
be.
Jerry Ordway.
And the last one I have here is a beautiful Action Comics issue number 262 with Supergirl and Superman. And this is the introduction to the fact that the Kryptons get their power from the sun.
Oh, wow.
So, little late in Superman history, we finally learn that he gets their powers powered up from the sun and heals them. So I think that's a cool issue. So those are my 3.
Very well done.
Very nice.
Josh, I think it's either the second or third appearance of Supergirl as well. It's like an early.
She appeared in Action 252.
252.
Yeah, so that's 262. So,
but she's not in every issue in between.
I know. I think I don't. It's probably
it's third appearance.
Yeah, probably third or fourth.
All right, Nori Jordan again here, guys, and he still can't let it go. But where is it? There we go. Last week, I took a road trip with my son to visit some not so local comic book stores. I didn't find anything too exciting until we made it to the last store of the day. High in the wall in the corner of the store was the Captain America number 6 variant cover, which is the first appearance of the Winter Soldier. It was only $50 and looked perfect, so buying it was an easy decision. I'm still learning this character in the comics, but he definitely is one of my favorites in the MCU. Oh yeah, he's currently leading the Thunderbolts and had led previous teams. This is an amazing coincidence. Take care, everyone. Well done there. Anybody else have some books they want to show?
Yeah, I got 3 here.
Oh, Dan. Let
me get going here because I got to suit up here. This one here, this is a gorgeous copy. This is Marvel Premiere number 9. This is the Death of the Ancient One. And the next issue 10, which I do have, is when Doctor Strange becomes the Sorcerer Supreme. But I just thought I got this for a reasonable price, but it is absolutely gorgeous. It feels like one of those comics you got off the rack. That's how high quality this one is.
It's in that Mylar too. It looks great.
Oh yeah, I'm heavy on Mylar here. These 2 I got from Comic Ozzy, who's in the chat. The first appearance of Ulick, Thor 154. Gorgeous Jack Kirby artwork. Any Jack Kirby you have, just hang on to it. I have yet to read this story. And this one here, I've already got one of them, but I got another one from, again, Ozzy sort of upgraded this one. And it's Dr. Doom in his first solo appearance and solo cover. Great story, by the way. Great story. So, who does he go? I read this. Is it, who does he go up against? He's a Fantastic Four villain. Joe, do you remember offhand who it was?
No, but if Valeria appears for the first time in that issue.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my 3 picks. Anyway, I got to suit up.
Yes, Judge, we will take you out of the chat here. All right, before Naomi shows off some new books, we're going to go, actually, Josh's Comics. Wants to be read. Josh's Comics, Superman. Just under a week till Superman finally hits theaters on July 11th. While I'll be seeing it on Tuesday night, my excitement is through the roof. This is the start of a new universe for my favorite comics. DCU is kicking off with Superman. From the trailers to the behind the scenes, this film looks great. So all this week, I'm dropping Superman content today. We start with a few books in the collection, such as the 50th anniversary reprint of Action Comics, the first appearance of Lex Luthor's War Suit, to the first appearance of Cat Grant and Samuel Lane, or the phenomenal Alex Ross cover. Enjoy this super fresh from the comic shop. And remember to look up and see you in theaters this week. Actually, that's a really good submission. All right, Naomi, what you got?
Okay, so on my trek up to Jersey, we stopped at a couple places, one of those being Georgia. And I went in some antique stores and found some old, like,
Oh, hell yeah.
creepy.
That's the best when you find that stuff. Okay.
Yeah, and then I found this one too.
Nice.
I thought it was pretty stinking cool. Joe, to be quite honest with you, I'm not gonna gas you up too much, but I saw that you collect these, and I was like, yep, those are things that I would absolutely like. So I've been on the hunt for them ever since. And then my boyfriend's dad gave me a gift, and it is this.
Whoa.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, so he gave me this. He was just like, "Here, you like comics, I like you, have it." So
That's awesome.
yeah, it was really cool. Yeah.
Did you kiss him on the forehead?
No.
Okay.
Did I have?
You should have. That's customary.
Aw. Is it?
Yeah.
No, I'm not from here. I'm from
Hey.
Mexico. We do a thing different over there.
All right, one more time.
Madam.
Oh,
was
God, the SlabDexs.
Oh,
With the SlabDexs, Joe.
SlabDexs. Sponsoring comic book canon since 2025.
Well done. Well done. All right, finally, our last submission of the week is Dan DT Photography 616. I have a feeling that's Danny and Tessa.
It's DNT, not Dan DT. It's DNT.
No, it's Dan DT Photography.
No, yeah, but it's D and T. Danny and Tessa.
Oh God, leave me alone. Comics Spawn 336, signed by Todd McFarlane. Figures are McFarlane Toys, Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn, Hasbro Marvel Legends, King and Black Venom. Hey, all, I don't currently have access to Danny and Tessa. Oh, so I'm posting this on my personal toy photography page. Many of you may not know this, but Todd McFarlane is one of my favorite comic book creators of all time. He is fantastic with both writing and art. Unfortunately, he didn't write or draw this issue, but Spawn is McFarlane's character, and he is one of the two characters that brought me into the world of comics, the other being Batman. So much so that I made my song Spawn out on all platforms. There's the plug. My current favorite YouTuber is Sir.Dork. He does awesome toy reviews and is the best photographer I've ever seen. He recently got a big package in the mail from McFarlane Toys Official. And in there was a number of awesome action figures and this comic. I messaged him on IG and told him how cool it was that he got a free signed comic from the Todd father himself. Jared Sir Dork isn't the biggest Spawn fan or comic collector for the matter. He asked me if I wanted it. He told me it'd be in much better hands with someone who would appreciate it. Fast forward, and here we are. Thanks, Jared. You're the best. I love it when my two geeky communities come together. I added Venom to the photo for a bit of comedy, plus Todd co-created him as well. Have a great day, everyone. Yo, that tugs at the heartstrings, people, and Danny is eligible.
Good one.
Yeah, so we got some thinking to do. I was going to show off some stuff, but whatever. I like this, actually.
Let me go. Transformers, Void Rivals, Energon Universe.
Really? Void Rivals, huh?
Oh, wow. Punisher 2099. That's a great one.
It's a foil.
It's a newsstand! It's a newsstand!
And it is a newsstand, actually. And then I got the Punisher Max #1. This is all half off, by the way.
Great run. Great read
Right?
for, adult content, violent comics.
Dude, he ends up killing a mother who is
wow, spoiler,
piece of-
Josh.
well,
Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that one.
That's the first Tommy and Billy.
It sure is.
Wow.
Thanks for shitting on my. You just ruined the whole episode.
I'm
dude.
sorry. I'm just in a mood today where I want to make
Really
fun of
are,
all
actually.
you.
We're going to have to
I
make a decision here, and everybody's going to be.
Do this, and I can do this, and then it's just me and Naomi, but fuck her too. Me and the judge, back to just me. Let's bring Jeffrey back on, and everyone.
That's good.
That was a good song. Did you like
You
it?
ruined this episode.
Very nice.
And you ruined the surprise birthday party we're throwing Josh tonight.
You're cut off from SlabDexs, by the way, Joe.
Yeah.
No.
All right, moving on. Here we go.
Did you
So,
meet a girl or something?
oh God,
What?
Joe, did you meet a girl at the concert? Is that why you're so giggly and
Is that why
happy?
I'm so giggly now? I thought you asked.
Or
Oh, yeah,
boy?
something else. No, it's because I've been chugging SlabDexs this entire show. The fumes are hitting me pretty hard.
Let's get this going here. Raising Elm is eligible. Goonish Lurker is eligible. And Danny from Danny and Tessa is eligible. So, this is a tough one actually because Danny brought in the pulling at the heartstrings. Goonish, I like that what he got here. I feel like that's a bit unique. And then Raising is just the whole total package here.
With the dinosaur. I like that.
He's it's a well composed shot, as we all know.
There's a lot of good ones.
I would have put the Thunderbolts 1 in the fireworks and set that sumbitch up.
All right, we know, we know the big beef. We know.
Big beef.
Joe, let's decide here.
There's one I'm leaning towards.
I got two that I really appreciate, and that's Danny and Tessa.
Yep.
And then the other one for me is Raising Elm.
Yep, those are definitely the two that stand out the most to me.
Okay.
This one, Raising Elms always set up very nicely, very topical. With the 4th of July holiday season, yada yada. Danny's set up very nicely with a little bit of added flair of the statue or figure. It's got a great story to it. Really, the thing that puts it over is it's a pretty unique book there. It's signed. It really checks all the boxes there.
I agree.
It's what got him into comics. I think that's adorable.
Yeah, and just the story of how he got it too that's huge. I mean, that for me that pulls at the heartstrings, and that's who I'm leaning towards.
Me too.
Well, if the judge approves, Danny, you'll be moving to the semifinals of July.
I think it's unanimous. I think we're all in agreement here. Danny, you are the winner. Congratulations. Case dismissed.
Danny, you'll be going up against next week's semifinalist. Spuds and Mark Leneker, you will be going up against each other for the June finals tomorrow. What an outstanding show. We're all super excited for Superman. That was I didn't mean to say super excited for Superman. That's really stupid. But anyways, we have a new sponsor, SlabDexs. We have a new nickname, the Big Beef. We just had a blast. I feel like this is the first episode that was like really it was going well with the five of us on. It just felt great. So I'm very appreciative of this. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, awesome time. I laughed a lot this show. There were a lot of funny things that happened. Some of them at my expense, some of them, fortunately, at the expense of others that I could partake in the laughing. We love that. We love that here on Comic Book Canon. Nothing beats a little bit of laughter. And what brings more laughter than SlabX? Brought to you by SlabX, Comic Book Canon. For all your slabbing needs, get your SlabX on.
There we go. Joshua, talk to me. The Big Beef. Do you enjoy your nickname?
Listen, I got a new nickname. I might rebrand the channel, and I'm going to look into some other promotional content for this. Maybe SlabDexs can help shine up my Big Beef.
I quit.
He's been waiting for that this whole time.
I'm trying to work
out. Thank you for that image. Now I'm scarred emotionally.
It's a great episode. It was great having all of us on. The Road to Superman. Actually, it starts tomorrow. Reviews officially lift and will be released tomorrow. So we'll get to hear what critics think. You'll probably end up starting to get some spoilers, especially come Tuesday night. It will release here early in the theaters in the U.S. and then go out this weekend and see it. And we will have a review. And I expect every single member of the canon to go see the movie so we can talk about the review on Sunday. If not, I'm going to shove my Big Beef so far up spandex.
Spandex! He
Wow.
said spandex.
Okay. That got on the air, did it?
Yeah, Dan, please.
The FCC will be contacting me tomorrow, and I'll have to explain this whole thing anyway. Hey, just to finalize the thought, it was Diablo. Diablo was the villain in this here. And I believe this is the first villain versus villain book that Marvel produced in the Soul
wow.
Blade. So, yeah, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know, but that's Spanish for devil.
Yes, it
is.
Whoa, look at you. Cultural.
Love being on the show. Great people here. I'll be on Spine Ticks next Saturday, 8 o'clock Pacific, and right back with you guys, 5 o'clock Pacific. And love you guys. See you next time.
Yes, Naomi, close us out here.
So yes, we had a great time. We got a new big beef. We got some SlabDexs humor. We have Dan, and always just such a gem. Jeff, thank you so much for everything. I really hate to say that this is probably gonna be my last episode. I'm probably gonna have to head back to Mexico after this, now that everybody knows that I am not from here. The cover has been blown. But it's been fun, guys. Muy bien. So
we have an extensive amount of legal support for you. You are not going anywhere.
Yeah. You let me take care of that.
I'm gonna have to kill somebody else and take their identity again. Thanks a lot.
God, this is a disaster. We love you all. We'll be back next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. If you haven't done so, like and subscribe. Tell your friends. We are the most popular show ever on the YouTubes. And, be good to yourself. And please be good to others. Until next time. Peace.